Hey y'all, I'm doing something right now. And I may have to do this before I start talking. So y'all bear with me a second, because this is an interesting recipe that was shared with me. And now I want to share it with y'all. Puff pastry. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So the other day in the mail, y'all, I got a sweet note from Scott Decker. And he lives in California. He says, "Hey Paula, you have helped me in the kitchen for years. You rock, girl. Have a wonderful day." Scott Decker. And his card says, "From Deer Park to the bottom of our hearts, thank you." So, to jog y'all's memory, in September of 2020, there was a terrible bad fire. And it was named the Glass Fire. Started September the 27th, 2020 at 3:48 in the morning from an undetermined cause. And it burned until like October the 20th. And it was crazy. It was named the Glass Fire because it was near the origin of the fire nearby Glass Mountain Road in Deer Park, Napa County. So it was named the Glass Fire because of the Glass Mountain Road. It initially started as a 20-acre brush fire, and it rapidly grew and merged with two smaller fires. It expanded to 11,000 acres during the night of September the 27th into the 28th. But like I said, it was fully contained by October the 20th. But, you know, out of all this tragedy and destruction, there was not the first life was lost, which is a miracle in itself. An estimated 70,000 people were under evacuation orders in the region. There was schools burnt to the ground. Foothills Adventist Elementary School was burned to the ground. Chateau Boswell Winery near St. Helena, and another old winery. I mean, things just burned to the very ground. So apparently, in order to raise money to help rebuild this section of California, they did a beautiful cookbook, St. Helena Deer Park Community Cookbook, Treasures from the Past. And the cover is made out of wood, y'all.
I love the cover.
Don't you
so
love this cover?
Yeah.
Enjoy the wood.
It's kind of the color of your wood floors.
It is. It is almost the color of our wood floors. So Scott made it clear that this was not his recipe that he was sharing with me, but it was from Roxanne Albert Hogan. And it's called Roasted Asparagus, Bacon, and Cheese Tart. Now, I hope, you know, different people have different interpretations of things. I swear I got to get me some new teeth, because I'm having trouble talking with these. So I hope that I have understood these directions carefully and correctly. So I'm going to read you the way this reads. Unroll sheets of puff pastry or roll out to roughly a 10 by 15 using a paring knife to score a line around the perimeter of the pastry about 1 inch from the edge. Well, I'm assuming, you know what assume means, don't you? It's an ass out of you and me. But I am assuming that the instructions were to tell us to cut this in a circle, because it's going to make 2 tarts. All right. So this is the way I did it because I just felt like it was easier. And like I said, I hope I did it right, but I just folded that up and I got me a knife and I just cut around it so it would be like in a circle when I unfolded it. So if y'all understood it to be different, please let me know. So I'm going to thin this out just a little bit and try to get it back in a nice circle. Get it in the shape of a tart. Alright, now Roxanne tells us to place this on a parchment lined bake sheet and with a fork poke holes all over the pastry within the border so this part remains flat during baking because this is puff pastry and it will puff up. Alright, so I've got my cookie sheet. And my parchment paper. This is an interesting recipe, Scott, and I so appreciate you sharing y'all's very special cookbook with me. Alright, so we're going to take our fork. You can see I have no room here, but when we get to the other house, honey, listen, I bet you it won't be any time before I'll be saying, I ain't got enough room here. Alright, so I'm going to poke this puff pastry all in the center, about 1 inch from the edge. So hopefully this part will puff up. See if I can get 2 of these. I may not be able to get 2 of them on there. Maybe I can shrink this back down a little bit. Okay, I've rolled it out a little too good. I think I'm gonna try to make it. Okay, now let's see. So, she says to crumble half a package of Boursin Rondelle cheese on each piece of the puff pastry. So this cheese is so very good. Just on a cracker. Ooh, it's yummy. All right, I'm gonna get every bit of that out. Kind of hard to crumble, y'all. So I'm just gonna have to take it, kind of spread it with my fingers, because this is at room temperature and it's not crumbling good. I'm gonna see if I can't get something in. Oops. I think I'm gonna see if I can't get a spoon and almost like frost our pastry with it. And hopefully this will work. It may work and it may not work, y'all. I just sprayed that with some non-stick. It's working. So this is gonna be kind of like a pizza, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Looks like a good appetizer.
This is gonna be a wonderful appetizer. And it's gonna be, hopefully, attractive. Hopefully it will be attractive.
Get very artsy with it. You can arrange.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get real artsy with it. Okay, so that was much better than trying to crumble. And hope that you approve, Roxanne. All right, scatter each with the cheese and the bacon. So here we go with the bacon. Ooh, I'm liking the way this is looking. Roxanne! How does that song go? I can't sing. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. Roxanne! Y'all know what I'm talking about though, don't you? All right. Top with the... Oh, I forgot to marinate the asparagus. I should have read the whole recipe first, didn't I? Because we've got some beautiful, beautiful asparagus that we were told to snap the ends off of. And we're going to make a marinade. I'm going to just pop these ends off and so it'll fit better on our puff pastry. And I do like to do this by hand rather than with a knife, because I think you truly, with your hands, get the feel of where it should break off and get rid of all the stalky pieces of asparagus. I sure should have made this. I'm so sorry, y'all. I should have made this marinade when I started, before I started fooling with the puff pastry, but I was just concerned about my puff pastry. All right, she said to topped with a marinated asparagus. So she tells us to toss together in a bowl asparagus, olive oil, lemon zest, and salt and pepper. So let's see, Teresa, did you measure this stuff out, or?
I did. The only thing I did was the oil.
Oh, okay. How much olive oil? Oh, just a tablespoon. Since I'm late, I'm going to do a little bit more than a tablespoon. All right. And the zest of 1 lemon. Oh, Teresa, this is not the right zester. Will be days. Let me go and see if I have a zester maybe boxed up in. Look at that lemon. All right, so I couldn't find a zester. This is what Bobby had over here, but it take you days to do that. So that's why it's over here in his guest house and not in his kitchen. This one's working good though. This grater, I don't think all the graters have the smaller grate on it. So this is a good one.
That's fresh lemon. I can smell it.
Oh, doesn't that,
So
and that
fragrant.
smell?
Yeah, very
And that
fragrant.
smell crazy good. Okay. Get every piece. All right, the zest of 1 lemon and coarse ground salt and pepper. And let's see how much she says of. She doesn't say. So we'll just do that. Okay, so we're gonna say that's marinated, y'all. And Roxanne says she said I line it up in pretty rows. Well, I don't know what she considers a pretty row, but I think I'm gonna do it like maybe this. Like a pinwheel. Now Eddie would have a ball with this, y'all. Because he could just put pretty all over it. I'm just going to reverse my asparagus. This just smells wonderful.
It does.
Is that pretty enough, Roxanne? Okie doke. I think that Roxanne meant for me to put the 2 cheeses down after I got the boursin cheese, because this calls for another cheese and I didn't quite pick up what she was putting down. So I think she meant to put both cheeses down. You better get back up there messing up my pretty pinwheel. Now I think that Roxanne means for us to just put this around the border, but let me check. Use a pastry brush and spread the egg wash along the border. So we are right there. And now we're gonna put, she recommends Gouda, Asiago, or Gruyere cheese. And like I said, that was supposed to go underneath on top of the boursin. But if that's the only mistake I made, Roxanne, trying to decipher this recipe, I'll be doing good. So this is just a beautiful, artsy appetizer, Roxanne. So the last thing she said was there's a lot of flavors going on. She said to just tear fresh mint leaves on it. So a lot of interesting flavors. Doesn't that mint smell good? Yum. Oh, smells heavenly. This is what we like in our sweet tea down here, y'all. This good old fresh mint. So good, make your breath smell good. All right, so now we have preheated our oven to 400 degrees, and we're gonna bake this from 20 to 22 minutes or until golden. And she said serve it at room temperature. So that's good. So I'll see y'all in 20 minutes. Okay, y'all, it's been like 20 minutes. And look at these tarts, Roxanne. You know what? I was rereading the recipe again, and I realized that nowhere did you tell me to cut them in a circle. You told me to roll them out to a 10 by 15, so I did a step that was not necessary. But
It's still pretty.
That's still pretty.
And I don't think it really matters where the cheese went,
No.
because
I think the cheese would have been better off next to the puff pastry. But this looks wonderful. All right, and they say to serve warm or at room temperature, and it supposedly makes 16 wedges. Scott, you were so sweet to think of me. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. St. Helena Deer Park Community Cookbook, Treasures from the Past. And look, there's a picture of Scott. Thank you, Scott. So he says on September the 27th, 2020, we lost our homes to the glass fire. We are only a fraction of the true loss at the Deer Park community. This cookbook is a way to give back to the local community that helped us in our time of need. All proceeds are being donated to Up Valley Family Center. I think pictures of food are boring, so I gather an assortment of photos that I believe capture the Napa Valley's beautiful people. Recipes that were donated may have a short story attached, as well as a photo. You will notice a 5-star rating for you to fill out on each recipe to your cookbook. Well, thank you, Scott. This is beautiful, and I feel honored that you would think that I'm worthy of getting one of y'all's cookbooks. God bless. I hope that, I know it'll take years to get back what the fire took away, but that fire did not take away y'all's strength and y'all's camaraderie. So thank y'all for the wonderful recipes, and I, in return, send y'all love and best dishes from me and my team here in Savannah, Georgia. Come on, Eddie, where is it? Oh, here it is. Ow, I don't know if I can what. Ooh, look at that. I adore puff pastry. Adore, adore, adore. As usual, I'm trying to eat it when it's too hot. Come on, Teresa.
What's asparagus?
Asparagus.
I was gonna say puff pastry and asparagus.
I feel like I'm eating healthy. There's a piece. Eddie, you want some?
In a second.
Well, I guess I'll have to stop and cut you a piece, won't I?
No,
Ain't that delicious?
this crushes them. This is really good. Eddie wants a piece.
The bacon. Wait till you get to the bacon. It's a winner, Roxanne. For Labor Day, this would be a great appetizer. Because you could do them up ahead of time, right, Teresa?
I like them in the round. You can just do them like pizza squares. I mean, pizza rounds. Sausage.
Well, next time I won't do that. I'll just leave them square because that just cuts off an extra step.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.